If you're a star researcher, you make a lot of money, or you can. You can lead a national lab, you can grow a large organization, and it requires a type of person that will excel in that environment where you're going to make a lot of money. And a lot of money is as much money as you'd ever imagine that you could make. The problem is that doing this career is spectacularly difficult because we have to manage a lot of negative emotion that happens along the way. And we have to manage it very well to get to the next step in our career. No matter what you are doing, you always have to figure out how to deal with these negative emotions, whether you are a master's student or a PhD student, or even beyond, where you're in 30 years, 40 years in the career, and you're still having to deal with the same problems that you had to deal with, where you're thinking in your head that this is a waste of time. You're thinking in your head that you don't want to do this anymore. Why am I actually doing this? You're thinking in your head that I am really bored and I'm depressed and I'm lonely. This is the quintessential thing with a researcher career that many people don't understand. It is often very much a solo career and very much is negative feedback at any moment, no matter what role, what you're actually doing, it's always negative feedback. And so you have to figure out how to deal with this and process this, because what you're doing is you're moving the boundary. What you're doing is every time that you move that boundary, people just simply don't like that you will encounter. And so they're going to give you negative feedback. And so, you can internalize this, which I do all of the time, and you can watch what I actually go through. I internalize it, but I also try to manage it to the best of my ability. And one of the things that you're going to have to learn is that managing it, where you're going to decide to leave, you're going to want to leave at any given time. And you're going to have a lot of doubts when you're doing it because there's no right answers with anything that you actually do. There's a combination of seeking truth as we understand it, but also being a persuasive person that has persuasive conversations. And I know that that is very difficult for many people to understand, but science has to be communicated. It has to get the word out there. And it's often not as easy as you think it is. So even though that you might pursue facts and there may be some concrete truth out there, if you don't know how to communicate it in a way, it may not resonate and there could be nothing that happens with it. All of this is to say that if you want to do this career, you have to figure out different ways to manage it so you can live a healthy and happy life. Part of what I've been trying to do with the Reciprocity Project is to get you to see how to actually do this, or I just have one frame of reference, and I miserably do it all of the time. I'm constantly comparing myself against other people. I am always feeling many days that I don't want to get up and do this. Many days I feel lonely. And so I don't think I'm actually a great person to learn from. But if nobody else is doing this, and if nobody else is out in the open about this, how are you supposed to learn? What are you supposed to do? Where are you supposed to turn to? Part of the reason why I do the Reciprocity Project is to give me meaning, myself, meaning, so that I know that I'm doing something. Otherwise, my job is sitting in my office pretty much all of the time by myself and staring at a computer screen and reading papers and mostly writing, almost always writing. And I struggle with writing. I feel depressed when I write. I feel a tremendous amount of drain after I write. And I feel awful the whole process. But I get back up and I do it again. And I try to figure out how to do this And so part of me is having meaning. So I am trying to make it better for everybody else that follows me with the reciprocity platform, where you will never have to, or what I would hope at some point, that I fundamentally change the market where you don't have to have these experiences. And it's a fun, silly game that you can join and participate at any given time. And I'm building it, and we're building it every day, one little step at a time, regardless of who is helping or what is helping. I am building this because it gives me meaning, and I simply don't. The problem with all of this is many of us are so focused on our own success and our own performance and how we can prosper in this career that nobody thinks about how do you build something else for other people. There is so many people that make enormous sums of money in the profession, and yet they really never figure out a way to give back. And I'm saying, for me, an enormous sum of money, you got to put this into context. I grew up in a very, very blue collar family with a single income. There were 6 kids in the entire family. And it was my dad who was working at a mill. So anybody that was making more than, in today's dollars, more than, say, $80,000 or $90,000 a year with a large family is an enormous sum of money for me. And there's always room at that moment to be generous. My dad, one of the best lessons that I ever did, grew up and we're a very religious family. I'm not so religious anymore, but I grew up in a religious family. They would always give money in the offering every single Sunday. They would give back in some sort of way. And so this gives me meaning, just like how my dad was getting meaning from the offering. I figure out, instead of giving money, I want to figure out to use my intellect to change it, to change the world in some sort of way, because I think that's a better use of who I am. So if you want to figure out how to deal with all of these negative emotions, figure out what gives you purpose, figure out what really resonates with you. And it may not be writing. It may not be doing research. In fact, it's probably not going to be doing those things, because I simply, myself, I know I don't get a lot of reward from it. Maybe in the very short term when I finish a task, but the long term, I don't care. It's disappeared, just like everything else. But if I have another thing, I have more things that I'm dealing with. Maybe I'm learning a language. I'm learning Italian. Maybe I'm trying to be fit. Maybe I am trying to raise a healthy family, so I spend time with them. Maybe I'm building the reciprocity project. All of these things, these many, many things, yes, they're distractions. Yes, I'm wasting my time. Yes, I am a failure in all areas of my life, but I get back up and I do it again. Yes, I never feel like any of these things are perfect. And in fact, my swimming is getting worse as I get older and is getting slower, but I get back up and I do it again. And I think that's what you have to realize, is that none of this is about winning. None of this is about success. None of this is about capturing the market and all of those things that everybody talks about, but it's figuring out what gives me meaning. And I know it's a waste of time. I know you think I'm a failure. I know all of those things. I am very well aware of them. I know the snickerings that everybody says behind my back, including friends and family and many of the colleagues that I see in my profession. I know. I am aware of it. Don't you worry. I'm very aware of it, because I feel it too. I think this stuff is ridiculous too, but I do it again and I get back up and it gives me meaning, because absolutely everything is pointless in life anyways. So you might as well choose something that you have control over, and you might as well go have fun doing it. Take care. and have a wonderful day. Bye.